Hello YouTube and welcome. In this video I would like to do with you the unboxing of this new Commander 2018. So this one is the Adaptive Enchantment. So in the other side we can read Join the Fray. Choose your commander and carve your path to victory in this unique multiplayer Magic format. Call on powerful planeswalkers and deploy their signature strategies to make sure you're the last player standing. Adaptive Enchantment. Astrid wears many faces, only occasionally wears her own. Her arsenal of enchantment masks lets her shift seamlessly between the powers and fighting styles of countless creatures to adapt to enemy tactics. So this pack contains the deck box, a 100 card deck with 17 new cards, 10 double-sided token cards, plus foiled oversized commander card, a strategy insert, and the reference card. So let's see what cards can we get in this new 2018 commander deck. So taking the oversized commander card, Astrid the Masked. So for drops, she has 3 loyalty points. For +2, untap each enchantment permanent you control. For -1, create a white aura enchantment token named Mask attached to another target permanent. The token has enchant permanent and token armor. For -7, put the top 7 cards of your library into your graveyard. Return all non-aura enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then do the same for aura cards. And for an extra, of course, Astrid the Masked can be your commander. Now let's see the rest of the components. So here it is, should be the strategy insert for this new commander, and in the other side here it is the other commanders in this deck. So Castia the Cultivator and Tuvasa the Sunlit. Here we have the 100 deck card, the box, put it aside. Let's open this one. So as I showed you before, in the oversized cards, here is the planeswalker that it is our commander for this deck, Astrid the Masked. Just checking the focus. So continuing, here we have Castia the Cultivator, 4 drops. She has Bestow for 6. If you cast this card for his Bestow cost, it is an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. Enchant creature gets +4/+4. Whenever an enchant creature or enchantment creature you control attacks, draw a card, and it is a 4/4. Sorry. Tuvasa the Sunlit, 3 drops. Tuvasa the Sunlit gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. Whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card, and it is a 1/1. Great card, this one. So here we have a token, a mask, enchantment aura, enchant permanent, token armor, So this is the 10 tokens. Usually comes in the bottom of the deck, and this time it is almost at the beginning. So we have Mask, Cat, creature token, 2/2, an Angel with flying, 4/4, and in the other side we have more cats, a Soldier, token creature 1/1, a Beast with trample 5/5, and finally a Horror token, artifact creature with a X for the total power of this creature. Interesting, this one. Now continuing with our deck. Here we have Loyal Unicorn. For drops, he has Vigilance, he has Lieutenant. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control your commander, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to creatures you control this turn. Other creatures you control gains Vigilance until the end of the turn, and it is a 3/4. Loyal Drake, 3 drops, he has Flying, he has Lieutenant. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control a commander, draw a card, and it is a 2/2. Loyal Guardian, 5 drops, he has Trample. He has Lieutenant also. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control your commander, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and it is a 4/4. Dismantling Blow, 3 drops, he has Kicker for 3. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. If this spell was kicked, draw 2 cards. Sage Reverie, 4 drops, enchant creature. When Sage Reverie enters in the battlefield, draw a card for each aura you control that it's attached to a creature. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. Soul Snare, 1 drop. For 1, sacrifice Soul Snare, exile target creature that's attacking you or a planeswalker you control. Unquestioned Authority, 3 drops, enchant creature. When Unquestioned Authority enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchant creature has protection from creatures. Nice. Architect of Imagination, 6 drops, creatures you control have flying. Nice. Creatures your opponent controls lose flying and can have or gain flying, and it is a 3/2. Il Umbra, 2 drops, he has Flash. Enchant creature gets +1/+1. Vow the Flight, 3 drops, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2, has flying and can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. White Water Knights, 5 drops, and he has Constellation. Whenever White Water Knights or another enchantment enters in the battlefield under your control, target creature can be blocked this turn, and it is a 4/4. Aura Gnarly, 3 drops, creatures with power less than Aura Gnarly enters power can't block it. Aura Gnarly and gets +1/+1 for each aura on the battlefield, and it is a 2/2. Dawn's Reflection, 4 drops, enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 2 mana in any combination of colors. Nice. Fertile Ground, 2 drops, enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of any color. Crewfix Insign, 3 drops, reveal the top 6 cards of your library, put up to 3 enchantment cards from among them into your hand, and the rest of the revealed cards into your graveyard. Overgrowth, 3 drops, enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 2 forests. Reclamation Sage, 3 drops. When Reclamation Sage enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment, and it is a 2/1. Snake Umbra, 3 drops. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has, whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. And has Totem Armor. If enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura. Interesting. Wall of Witness, 3 drops. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has trample and can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. Wild Growth, 1 drop. Enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional forest. Yavimaya Enchantress, 3 drops. Yavimaya Enchantress gets +1/+1 for each enchantment on the battlefield, and it is a 2/2. Crazy card, this one. Band Charm, 3 drops. Choose one, destroy target artifact, put target creature on the bottom of its owner library, or counter target instant spell. Interesting. Unflinching Courage, 3 drops. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has trample and lifelink. The famous Soul Ring, 1 drop. Tap it for 2 colors mana. Here we have a plane and 2 more. Let's continue. Imperial Storm, 6 drops. When you cast the spell, copy it for each time you have cast your commander from Commander Zone this game. Create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Crazy card, this one. And this one is a great image. Heavenly Blade Master, 6 drops. He has flying and double strike. When Heavenly Blade Master enters the battlefield, you may attach any number of auras and equipment you control to it. Other creatures you control gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to Heavenly Blade Master, and it is a 3/6. Astrid Invocation, 3 drops. You may have Astrid's Invocation enters the battlefield as a copy of any enchantment you control, except it gains. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile this enchantment. If you do, return it to the battlefield under its owner control. Ever Watching Freehold, 3 drops. Whenever an opponent attacks you or a planeswalker you control with 1 or more creatures, draw a card. Octopus Umbra, 5 drops. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness of 8/8 and has, whenever this creature attacks, you may tap target creature with power 8 or less, and also has a Totem Armor. Crazy card, this one. Genesis Storm, 6 drops. When you cast the spell, copy it for each time you have cast your commander from the command zone this game. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land permanent card. You may put that card on the battlefield, then put all the revealed cards this way that weren't put on the battlefield on the bottom of your library in a random order. Myth Unbound, 3 drops. Your commander costs 1 less to cast for each time it's been cast from the command zone this game. Whenever your commander is put on the command zone from anywhere, draw a card, and this one is a crazy card, definitely. Nihilus Colossus, 7 drops. He has Constellation. Whenever Nihilus Colossus or another enchantment enters in the battlefield under your control, double target creature power and toughness until the end of the turn, and it is a 6/6. Ravenous Slime, 3 drops. Ravenous Slime can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. If a creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile it and put it a number of +1/+1 counters equal to that creature power on Ravenous Slime. And it is a 1/1, another crazy card. Arish Metes Slumbering Island, 4 drops. So when it enters in the battlefield, tap it with 5 slumber counters on it. As long as Arimetes and has a slumber counter on it, it is an island. It's not a creature. Whenever you cast a spell, you may remove a slum counter from Archimedes. Tap it for a forest and an island, and it is a 12/12. Crazy. Crazy. Hydra Omnivore, 6 drops. Whenever Hydra Omnivore deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent, and it is a 8/8. Bruna Light of Alabaster, 6 drops, flying and vigilance. Whenever Bruna Light of Alabaster attacks or blocks, you may attach to it any number of auras in the battlefield, and you may put on the battlefield attached to any number of auras cards that could enchant it from your graveyard and or your hand, and it is a 5/5. A Janice Chosen, 4 drops. Whenever enchantment enters in the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white token cat creature. If that enchantment is an aura, you may attach to it to the token, and it is a 3/3. Celestial Archon, 5 drops. He has best roll for 7. He has flying and first strike. Enchant creature gets +4/+4 and has flying and first strike, and it is a 4/4. Marshall Cope, an X and 2 planes. Create a X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. If X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. And this is crazy. This card is crazy. Phyroxian Rebirth, 6 drops. Destroy all creatures. Create a XX colorless horror artifact creature token, where X is the number of creatures destroyed this way. Another crazy card. This deck is crazy. Sigil of the Empty Throne, 5 drops. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Silent Sentinel, 7 drops. He has flying. Whenever Silent Sentinel attacks, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it is a 4/6. Winds of Wrath, 5 drops. Destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted. They can be regenerated. Another crazy card. Dictate of Grunfix, 3 drops. He has flash. At the beginning of each player's draw step, the player draws an additional card. Really? Crazy. Bear Umbra, 4 drops. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has, whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands you control. And also have the Totem Armor. Great deck, this one. Really crazy. So, Boon Satyr, 3 drops. He has flash. He has Bestial for 5. If you cast this card from its bestial cost, it is an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. Enchanted creature gets +4/+2, and it is a 4/2. Creeping Renaissance, 5 drops. Choose a permanent type. Return all cards of the chosen type from your graveyard to your hand. He has a flashback for 7. Eidolon of Blossoms. For drops, he has Constellation. Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card, and it is a 2/2. Enchantress Presence, 3 drops. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. Epic Proportions, 6 drops, he has flash. Enchanted creature gets +5/+5 and has trample. Ground Seal, 2 drops. When Ground Seal enters the battlefield, draw a card. Cards in the graveyards can be the targets of spells or abilities. Herald of the Pantheon, 2 drops. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life, and it is a 2/2. Spawning Grounds, 8 drops. Enchanted Land. Enchanted Land has tap it, create a 5/5 green beast creature token with trample. Crazy. Cold Eye Selkie, 3 drops. He has Eyes on Walk. Whenever Cold Eye Selkie deals combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards, and it is a 1/1. Daxus of Meletis, 3 drops. Daxus of Meletis can be blocked by creatures with powers 3 or greater. Whenever Daxus of Meletis deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You gain life equal to that card's convert mana cost. Until the end of the turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as to it were mana of any color of that cast that spell, and it is a 2/2. A long test, this one. Elderwood Scion, 5 drops. He has Trample and Lifelink. Spells you cast that target Elderwood Scion cost 2 less to cast. Spells your opponent cast to target Elderwood Scion cost 2 more to cast, and it is a 4/4. Finest Hour, 5 drops. He has his Exalt. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, if it is the first combat phase of the turn, untap that creature after this phase. There is an additional combat phase. And this one is a great card with the right creature. Righteous Authority, 5 drops, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each card its controller's hand. At the beginning of the draw step of enchanted creature controllers, that player draws an additional card. Mossworth Breach, it's a land. He has Hideaway. This land enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom of your library. Tap it for a forest, and for a forest tap it, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if creatures you control have total power 10 or greater. This is another crazy card. We have more planes. So the basic lands, of course. Some islands. And of course the forests. Here we have Forge of Heroes. Tap it for a colorless, or tap it, choose target commander that enters the battlefield this turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on it if it is a creature, and a loyalty counter if it is a planeswalker. Really? Another one. Azorius Chancellery. Azorius Chancellery enters the battlefield, tap it. When enters the battlefield, return a land you control to his owner hand. And tap it for a plane and an island mana. Blossoming Sands. Blossoming Sands enters the battlefield, tap it. When Blossoming Sands enters in the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap it for a forest or a plain. The command tower, of course. Also the Evolving Wilds. Sacrifice Evolving Wild, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield, tap it, then shuffle your library. I'm sorry, but it's so common, this card in these commander decks, I forgot to explain the card. So tap it, add 1 mana of any color in your commander color identity. Cross and Verge. Cross and Verge enters the battlefield, tap it for a colorless. For 2, tap it, sacrifice Cross and Verge, search a library for a forest card and a plain card, put it on the battlefield, tap it, then shuffle your library. Meandering River. Meandering Rivers enters the battlefield, tap it for a plain or an island. Another plain. Seaside Citadel. Seaside Citadel enters the battlefield, tap it for a forest or a plain or an island. Selesnya Sanctuary. Selesnya Sanctuary enters the battlefield, tap it. When enters the battlefield, return a land you control to his owner hand. Tap it for a forest and a plain. Simic Growth Chamber. Simic Growth Chamber enters the battlefield, tap it. When enters the battlefield, return a land you control to his owner hand. Tap it for a forest and island. Another well-known card, Terraformic Expanse. Tap it, sacrifice Terraformic Expanse, search a library for a basic land card, put it in the battlefield, tap it, then shuffle your library. Thornwood Falls. Thornwood Falls enters the battlefield, tap it. When Thornwood Falls enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap it for a forest or an island. Tranquil Cove. Tranquil Cove enters the battlefield, tap it. When enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap it for a plain or an island. Tranquil Expanse. Tranquil Expanse enters in the battlefield, tap it for a forest or a plain. Woodland Stream. Woodland Stream enters the battlefield, tap it for a forest or an island. And finally, here we have some publicity for the other formats that we can play with Magic the Gathering, so Standard, Boosted Draft and Commander, of course. So this is the crazy deck that comes with the Adaptive Enchantment, and this one should be a great fun to play. But also this has crazy cards. There are some cards that I really don't believe the total power that we can play during the game. So this is a new deck. I don't know yet the gameplay of this, but should be crazy. So this is what I have to share with you. I hope you like it, you enjoy it. Until the next time, see you.